Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on stage today. I'm Mathieu DEMARÉ. I'm working for XR Wallonia HITT. We are an organization based in Wallonia, the southern French-speaking part of Belgium, and we are gathering all the actors for research and industries in Wallonia. And we are here to host this session about industrial use cases. And then the idea is that Wallonia wants to connect with all actors in Europe in order to foster innovation of our region, but with you guys. So don't hesitate to connect us, to come on the booth 508, and to have a visit to us. So today we will have this session about industrial use cases, and we managed to gather three tremendous use cases coming from three industries: Nestlé, Airbus, and Alstom. And to represent them, we have Thomas from Deloitte Digital, who will talk about Nestlé. We have Aakash directly from Airbus, and we have Mohamed coming for the Alstom use case. So I will pass the mic to Thomas to present you the Nestlé use case.
Thank you, Mathieu. So, reimagining healthcare professional engagement, immersive storytelling with XR by Nestlé. In this stage, when we speak about XR with large corporations, it's still very often perceived as sometimes a gimmick or something that the industry has been talking about for 20 years, but without clear return on investment. So hopefully after this talk you will get a glimpse of about the fact that actually XR can provide a real return on investment and is something that is very actionable today and all companies in the room could invest in. I will focus of course on storytelling. This is the part that is there to support marketing and sales. And actually, it started with that briefing. So basically, could XR provide a more sustainable alternative to replace the visits on site of healthcare professionals? So if you think of traveling 2 days to visit a factory that gives you a 90% satisfaction score, how can you actually imagine an experience that will be able to overcome this? So the results, it was actually very massive in terms of success. So you see 15,000 healthcare professionals have experienced this immersive experience in 12 months compared to before where the reach was 500 per year. So it was a massive increase in the reach. In terms of satisfaction score, and that was one of the main challenges, we got to 98%, which is very frightening because it means that for next project, the bar is really high. And of course, in terms of sustainability, it was great to see that by preventing the people to take a plane and fly to the location, it saves about 60 tons of CO2 per month. So really impressive results. But let me explain you a bit how. So basically, it was a mix of actually scientific expertise from the client, technology, of course, to have the right technological aspect to support the right elements of the story and creativity in order to make it entertaining, based on the needs and the expectations of the audience and not technology pushed. So basically, immersive storytelling is just at the intersection of all those elements. And for the ones of you who don't know what it is about, just a few illustrations. So the idea is to engage audience via a combination of virtual, augmented, and mixed reality using 360 scenes, 3D content, and of course, the intent is to get the audience emotionally engaged via the fact that they can really literally touch the brand, they can touch the product, they can interact with them, and this trigger emotions and it influences positively the perception that the audience has with the brand. So a few examples to show you how it materializes. So basically, it's a combination of 3D models. If you click, you can actually get extra information. Some elements about, I would say, classical videos surrounded by 3D elements. The idea is to make it engaging, to actually ensure that the interest is triggered all during the experience. It can also be a 360-degree scene within a factory, so you can really get immersed into how it can look like and illustrate the process. And you also have elements aiming at giving some chapters about the experience, so basically conveyed here by this mini model of the 3D factory. For obvious confidentiality reason, I cannot showcase the whole experience. These are just a glimpse that were allowed by Nestlé, but it gives you an idea of basically what is actually possible. And actually, there was something that was very interesting when we went on site in Mexico in order to actually supervise the shooting and capture of the 360 scenes, is that in the evening, we went with the team to a restaurant, and they told us, well, this is actually the part that our healthcare professionals like the most, is we actually come to the restaurant, we have mariachi, we drink some tequilas, and they really enjoy this part. And for me, it was really a shock, because I started sweating, saying, oh, how can I compete with that? How can we conceive an experience that will actually be able to surpass this? So we had, it really pushed the boundaries further, and we had to imagine something that was totally different, that was not part of the client brief. And actually, this is what we came with. So basically, a bird landing on the hand, and then it goes back to the logo of the client. So it was kind of simple, but it's part of the two elements that actually the users recall the most in the experience. So basically, the point is to really trigger actually emotions. You might know this quote, but it's really what we wanted to put in action. And this was done through the selection of the client about using mixed reality headsets in order to get progressively immersed into the experience. And actually, they equipped their medical delegates with a few hundreds of those headsets in order to actually visit the healthcare professionals. And basically, if we can think about some of the technologies compounding XR, metaverse, we know where it is. XR glasses, there are lots of promises. I think there are really nice booths to visit and figure out maybe it can actually accelerate. And for us, immersive storytelling is there, full of promises with lots of actual use cases that can be deployed now. So basically, what we believe is that thanks to that, Nestlé managed to confirm his status of actually innovative brand and seizing this opportunity of exploiting a technology that is mature with actually impressive results. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. We'll come back later with some question about this experience. So now, Aakash, you want to share with us your experience concerning Airbus. So Aakash is a mixed reality consultant expert at Airbus. So please, Aakash, present us what you achieved.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Thank you, Thomas, for the great use case. So before I start, I actually like to introduce myself. My name is Aakash MAKHIJA, and I'm a mixed reality technology specialist in Airbus. Just to give you a little, thank you. So that's Mathieu helping me, good. Yes, so just to give you a little idea about me, I am passionate about machine-computer interaction, and I am quite interested in creating intuitive MR applications for our frontline workers. So, starting with our use case. Today I'll be presenting XR use case in Airbus, but before that, I want to tell you something about aircraft. As you know, that modern aircraft is almost generally considered as the engineering marvel. It's not like any normal machine, like a coffee machine or something. No, it's a massive billion-dollar machine which is designed which has complex parts into it. In Airbus, we build these complex machineries with different millions of components. And if you talk about the components, there are carbon fiber fuselage, there are aerodynamic wings, there are many other parts, for example, even complex network of hydraulics, and even tiny 1,000 parts of rivets. It's actually quite a lot. Honestly, it's overwhelming. But today, I'm not going to talk about any of those engineering cool stuff. No engines, no wings. What I'm going to talk about is something deceptively very simple, often ignored, and also considered critical for the global aviation safety. It is labels. Yes, you heard it right, stickers. If you miss a single safety stickers in the aircraft, that could lead to an abundance of annoyance. It is. If you see on this slide in the center, it's actually the collage of the warnings, instructions, and placards. And if any of these safety labels is missing inside the aircraft, that engineering marvel doesn't fly. And today, what you see here, oopsie. Today, what you see here is a list of labels. These are not just labels or no smoking signs. These are compliance regulations. It has a multilingual compliance. It has different versions for different regions. And most importantly, if you check on the right side, the label on the door, that's a cabin door. And it is a compliance minefield. This whole labels, if any of this label on this door is missing, it could lead to a scenario called AOG, aircraft on ground. Imagine 100 million asset is grounded because the sticker was missing. It is massive cost and crucial to us in the reduction of customer satisfaction. So, how do we deal with this? Now, let me show you how do we arrive here, or how this error occurs, basically. If you look at the image on the left, it is our blue collars who has a lot of pain points, like they are actually armed with the paper manuals and cross-referencing it with the diagrams, with the diagrams and referencing it with the physical labels. This is actually a tiresome, it is an error-prone, and it is providing a less throughput. So, how do we fix this issue? We have introduced a mixed reality solution called 3D Check. Now, what does this 3D Check do? It is a contextual, real-time, and anchored data which is present here. The application knows where the door is, it knows which label belongs there, and it immediately helps our frontline workers to identify if the label is correct or incorrect. Now, as I have explained you a lot, I really want to show you something here. Oops. Please look at this demo. If you observe closely here, the operator can easily verify the real labels and the virtual labels and can easily validate much quicker way and in a simplest form.
Okay. So this is the demo.
Yeah, this is the demo we have of our application. And what you have just saw here, it's not just a concept, but it's actually a simulated data providing real insights. This is like we have turned a manual check into a digital guarantee. And if some of you want to know about the numbers, yes, after implementing this application, we have increased the reduction, we have reduced the reduction time in 40% and increased in the task completion by 50%. What does this translate for us? It means faster delivery, we have we have a faster delivery, we have a guaranteed labels, and it's good for the leadership. Now, the next part. Now we have built a demo, and it's good. But deploying it in an Airbus scale, it's the hard part. This slide represents our pilot to production chasm. What you see here is the first journey from where it began, the ideation. In the ideation, we have a cross-functional team where we actually analyze the pain point and then create a business case over it. Then what we have, the next one, is the TRL, the Technology Readiness Level Valuation. We do a rigorous validation on this part, and we prove that this is not just something that you can only use in lab or in a room, but it can be used on a factory in a production site. And then the most important part in this is the deployment, where we integrate this application, the system, with our existing other components or in the whole Airbus deployment scale. This is crucial as well. If we do this, during this whole process, we face three major walls. First, as you can see, the security. It is very important for us that the security should be maintained. The integrity and the confidentiality of the data should be maintained during the streaming. Next, interoperability. We cannot be logged on one headset. We need an infrastructure that it can be deployed on any headset throughout the whole Airbus. And the last, which is again one of the most crucial for us, is the user adoption. Imagine if this MR application is harder than the paper or manual inspection, then the workers would have rejected it. So change management is the key here for us. Now, what do we see in future? Where are we moving from this? We are actually moving to a predictive intelligence. And what do you mean by that? So we want to integrate AI and digital twin into it. Why? Because this will help us to, the system does not only check the labels, but also predicts based on the data if the compromise or the component is, let's say, fall under the category of like majorly times invalid or having a sort of broken. So this is what it actually targets. This is our future goal. In the end, what I really want to say from all this is labels are small, but solving labor problem with the mixed reality proved we can solve bigger problems with the spatial computing. Thank you. If you have any questions or anything, I'm at the coffee stand. Thank you.
Thank you, Aakash. So Mohamed, you will talk about Alstom, please. So normally, Mohamed would be accompanied by a representative from Alstom, but unfortunately she's ill. So Mohamed, please explain us what Alstom requests you to do.
Thank you. So hello everyone, and I will start by briefly present myself. I am Mohamed MAROUENE. I am the co-founder and CEO of SoWhen, and I'm here to talk about the project that we developed with Alstom, the cybersecurity team of Alstom. But before talking about this project, a little bit of context. So I think that everyone knows that Alstom is an innovative leading company in the railway industry. And we've been working with them for a few years on creating and digitalizing a lot of their products and services. And we created with them and their XR team the Alstom Virtual Universe, which is a 5 square kilometer environment containing more than 35 products and covering all the department of Alstom. And we started always in this project from the engineer data, and we get that inside of Unreal Engine as a tool, as our main tool. And from there, we started creating different use cases that comes from the same virtual universe. And the cybersecurity crisis simulator is one of these projects that started from the virtual universe. So the idea behind this tool is we wanted to work with Alstom to find a way to cover all the subjects of cybersecurity. In the beginning, the project started as a tool to start a discussion because cybersecurity is a very vast subject and it's a complex subject, and applying it to the railway industry is not an easy task. And for that, and to make it a little bit more easy on the discussion, we wanted to create together a tool that bring a narrative experience where you are on the body of an investigator in different situations and different crises. And through that, you can bring awareness to the internal team of Alstom, but also it can be a sales tool that will make the client of Alstom and their partner understand how they work with different crises of cybersecurity and showcasing their way of thinking, the solution that they bring to the market. And the concept of this experience is, you'll see it on the video, is really having the user will be choosing one of the crises that are available, and he will see the consequences of this crisis, and after that, he will start investigating each of these crises and we give him information through flashback on the crisis, because the investigator, of course, come after the crisis happened, and he will start implementing solution to remove this kind of threats. And each time on each crisis, of course, we'll be navigating in an environment that is connected to the railway industry. It could be a control room, it could be a train, it could be any type of environment. And to get to this kind of experience, what was very important in this tool is to get, first of all, a very realistic type of environment. And for that, of course, like I said, we started from the same asset that we created for the virtual universe, and these same assets come from the engineer department of Alstom. So there, for the modelization and the realistic part, it's already implemented in these assets, but also the lighting of the universe and the situation will bring also, it's not just a technical environment, it's really a realistic and immersive environment. And the other thing that we wanted to do in this tool is also to connect the brain of a user into this tool in a more engaging way. And for that, we created the system with a connected torchlight, where the light beam of the physical torchlight extend into the virtual environment. And with this tool, any type of expert or non-expert in cybersecurity will start investigating on each of the environment to find the possible threats, and after the threat is found, try to find also how to respond to the threat. And each of these threats will have different type of solution, and each implemented solution come, of course, from realistic data, but with some traps, of course. But it's always a tool that can bring discussion between the experts with this kind of brain mechanic. But it's very important because, again, everyone every day is exposed to a lot of videos, a lot of digital experiences, and finding this right amount of innovative and how to trick a little bit the mind to get more focused on the subject, like with the torchlight, is a way also to get the attention and the focus and have a better memorial impact on the person that is using this simulator. But of course, for deployment reason also, we created a fully digital version that can be played with simply a mouse to explore environment, because it's very important to get the tool to be deployed everywhere, not just in a very specified type of environment with a torchlight.
Thank you, Mohamed. Very interesting. So now, as you have the mic, Mohamed, can you talk a bit about the challenges that you faced while preparing this project internally at Alstom, but also at your side? I guess at Alstom side there were already some challenges before setting that. So what was the basic challenge at the beginning?
So I will start by the last element that I shared with you, the deployment. For an experience to succeed, it needs to be accessible. And we needed to find, because it's a technological type of experience, we need to find the right balance between the complexity of the technology that will be used, the precision of this technology, and the easiest way to deploy it. And for this, it was really the challenge to find the right protocols on the communication between the flashlight and the application itself, the way that everything could be plug and play in each event, each situation where Alstom will be deploying this, either internally but also in events. And it needed to be deployed in several kind of computers. So again, the plug and play part was a real challenge. And the second challenge, I think, is really to be exact, because we are talking to experts on the field. And for us, it was very important to get this realism in the different environment with the good assets, because they will be investigating. We will be talking to the kind of experts that know the difference between each electronical type of device. And even if a lot of person mistake cybersecurity for only cyber situation, but in cybersecurity, there is also the physical part that is important, and how you connect to the cyber environment, and getting this physical part to be realistic for the user is very, very important, and was challenging because, of course, the complexity of the data.
Yeah, thank you. And cybersecurity is a very important topic in the industry right now. I guess we'll get that about Airbus too. Was it easy for you to find this use case, finding a real pain into the company in order to go towards the storytelling? Because I guess sometimes all companies have digital twins and assets, but not all of them are going for the kind of solution to propose. So I guess the pain about cybersecurity was really leading this request.
Yeah, so it was quite important to also find these use cases, like you said, in cybersecurity. And for this, it was really a daily work with the cyber expert team in Alstom to find the kind of use case that are relevant, that connect well with the technology, and that bring the right message. It's not about just about the technology or the realism of the environment. Is really the exactitude of the use case, but also even the temporal kind of event inside this use case. Because when we are talking about a cyber attack, there is a chain kind of attack that can happen, and the way that the event arrive on the right time, even the timing, and because we have a small clock that appears in a different situation in the environment, the cybersecurity team wanted to be exact in these kind of small details, because the time is important also.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So Aakash, at your side, so you talk about a bit about security. It's what's one challenge. Do you have other challenges that you face or you are seeing in the future for the implementation of your solution?
Okay, so as Mohamed has explained, and it's actually an important topic like cybersecurity and getting approved from a cybersecurity, because the security in such a big scale or a company is important. So you really have to look after it. But if we move from cybersecurity, or if we have like gotten approved from the cybersecurity, what is then next? The important part is how do you scale it? Because scaling and keeping a device agnostic application is one of the other challenge, what I just mentioned, interoperability, where you cannot just stick to one device or a headset. Because tomorrow, like for example, today we have a gap from the Microsoft HoloLens. But what we have for the next? So this is what we the challenges we face, that we have to make it device agnostic. We have to create an infrastructure where you can actually deploy it. And moreover, I think here is also the another important part which I would like to mention is how do you manage the whole system, like the mobile management device, is how do you handle the devices, how do you handle the profiles? Because let's say even in such a big company, you do not get access to such proprietary data by everyone can access it. No, it has to be based on a profile, and then it has to be accessed. So this is also one of the other important topic or challenges, let's say, that you have to maintain a proper MDM for the applications. And this is what like a core of it. And the next, which is another topic, if we are actually deploying it to the the shop floor, it is important for the frontline workers to actually, they can adopt this application. Like I mentioned, if they do not like it, it's bad. Even if you have made the state-of-the-art application, you have done every best thing, and if they are not using it, it's a waste of time. So this is what one of the key challenges is, the user adoption. That's why you really have to have an iterative process where you build, you test, you get the feedback, and then you move on. So I think, yeah, those are the challenges, I would say.
Okay. And you talk a bit also about the technical part, having the right headset and so on. Is it still a challenge today to find a solution that would fit and that you can deploy worldwide with the right headset?
Well, Matthew, it is not a new thing. Like, yes, after the decommissioning of the HoloLens, yes, we have a gap in the industry. But yes, we are still thriving. There are other companies who are actually building new headsets and trying to fill this gap. And I think it will take, from my perspective, I would say, it will take some time, but it's not like it will always be empty. We are progressing at a speed of really light, at a speed of light, actually. So it's actually, let's say, in some years, we will definitely have a replacement, and this is what we expect today. But we definitely build a system where it has to be deployed on any headset, on any devices, and can be used, be it HoloLens, be it tablet, be it a mobile device as well, as a matter of fact. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, Thomas, what were the challenges with your client Nestlé to face there? Was there some user friendliness or other topics that were really the major point? You talk a bit about enjoying and entertain the people. What can you say about that?
So in terms of challenges, one was clearly the user experience, how to design an experience that can be deployed at scale. I mean, every country has specificities in terms of culture, in terms of expectations, in terms of affinity with the technology and willingness to interact with it or not. So it was a very challenging exercise to balance the right level of information, of content, to be a bit educative and bring information, and also be entertaining enough. So definitely, in terms of storytelling, it was balancing those elements that was a challenge. Second was also on a technical level, how can you deploy applications at scale, because it means many languages. So how can you have a process that is robust enough to make that replication and adjustment to every local market with the right language, with the right product. How can you make it maintainable and sustainable? And there were also some kind of small technical details, like the fact that an application package is only 4 gigas. So as soon as you multiply the number of scenes, you need to find alternatives. So it started with a standalone app, and it ended up in a distributed one in order to allow that scalability and that global scale-up.
Okay, and what is the next step then with your project at Nestlé? Do you have, is it a good practice that you identified with the client and they want to go further with that? What can you say about the learnings that you went through at Nestlé there?
So they didn't want to communicate on their sales figures, unfortunately. But since that first pilot we did, they asked us to do 2 other similar experiences. So I assume it was more than positive. Now, in terms of lessons learned, I would say 3 things. First, the importance of prototyping, especially when your interlocutors are engineers, and you need to embed them into an immersive storytelling experience where they have to provide you with the right inputs you need in order to explain what needs to be explained and make sense for the audience. And it doesn't become boring. It's very, very important to prototype. Prototype so they can actually picture how it means, what it means in terms of seeing that, visualizing that in the headset. The second aspect is the collaboration. For large project like this, you need to have a trustful and good relationship with all the other functions, IT, the business, and the supporting functions. So here I think it was really important to invest in the relationship in order to make it a success, because it takes a few weeks for people to actually figure out what it means to deploy such an application at scale. So it's really a journey. And the third element is testing. I can not insist enough on the necessity to test, and to test with people of legal, people of compliance, people of, services you have never heard of, next to, of course, the users. And testing with users is not only something you do at the end, because that would be very expensive in case you made a mistake, but really testing all along the process in order to validate your assumption and ensure that the interactions that you design are as appealing as you wished, and also as are user-friendly and intuitive as you want.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. Mohamed, do you have also some best practice that you identified while doing this project with Alstom? I guess you learned a lot from them. What can you tell us about the best practice that the audience can take away?
So some of the best practice that I can share with you is you cannot get soon enough the expert on an experience like what we did. It's very important. Even if you are working with the communication department or any type of department, you need to get the expert on the project to get the right answer fast, so that they can understand also your constraint and have this open discussion with them to create the best kind of experience. Because again, these experts know better, and you are creating this tool for other experts. So it's important to get them in the designing phase and not just to validate part of the data. And it was really, I'm stepping into the shoes of Alstom a little bit. It was really also very important to simplify the information for a company like SoWhen, which we were responsible on the creative part, the narrative part, and the technological part, getting to understand better the subject by having things that are easy to understand is also important, because if we received like a technical sheet with all of terms that we don't understand, we cannot create this right balance in the experience. And finally, and it's valid for all experiences, the user experience is really the king to get the right experience. You need to get into the shoes of your final user. You need to forget that you are innovator, that you understand the technology. You need to hide the technology to be just to live in this experience from the position of a user. And that's why we really chose, for example, the torchlight, because it's an object that anyone knows how it works. There is like habits to use it, and following this kind of simple habit make the brain of the human connect more easily into the experience rather than having a very complex type of tool, even if it's represent better the market, but still it won't connect with the brain of your final user.
Yeah, it's interesting, this torchlight. How did you, this idea came to you? Is it you that came with that, or is it by talking with those experts about security?
So the idea came along in a brainstorming session inside SoWhen, where we, as the cybersecurity is a very large, complex, and dark subject, we were seeing Alstom as bringing the light to this dark subject. And their client, that they don't know where these threats are hidden, are in the dark. So this way to, starting from how to bring the light inside this environment to find the threat, was the beginning of this idea. Why not really bringing the light to the torch light inside the experience? And it works really well.
Yeah, and you gamified that a lot. It's pretty like a game. So you are doing games also. Do you define it as a serious game, or what? How?
It's really a
sometimes
simulator.
in the industry, it's not easy to come with those kind of words like serious gaming and so on. So what were the wording that you use with the industrial to manage them? Is the storytelling is the key word that you use to bring that?
I think that simulation was the right word, and it's a simulation because we are simulating a crisis, and then we are simulating how you can choose solution to address this crisis. And we are showing everything in this crisis, and even the type of information, the way that the scoring, because it's a gamified simulator. For example, if you stay too long in the observation phase, your score will be less important because again, and the reality of the field, the faster we respond to the threat, the better. And also, depending on the kind of solution that you will be addressing, you won't get the same type of score. So again, it's a simulator, it's a gamified simulator driven by a story, but it's still a simulator.
A simulation, yeah, okay, thank you. So Aakash, what best practice can you share with the audience concerning the phase where you are now?
Okay, let's say if you are actually building a new XR project, what is the most important thing is what are you bringing from it? What value does it bring? So it's very important to actually understand the pain point or what exactly the problem you're trying to solve. And the next thing what you want to target is what are the metrics or how are you going to judge if your the project is going to be a successful. It's important to define an ROI metric. So this is then let's say the best practices which I would suggest as a first step. And then once you have it defined, then you have to go to the next step where you actually understand how are you going to like build with the industrial discipline. So when I say industrial discipline, I'm sure there are different ways, but what we in Airbus follows is the TRL, which is the technology readiness level. And here we just don't build an application just like to make it work. No, we try to build it in a way where it has a secured data flow, it has a secured way of managing the data, and it also manages like how the application is pushed, who is accessing, and even gaining or let's say onboarding the governance. Like for example, if you have a proprietary data on these applications or in project, you really need to get hold of maybe the security, the governance, or maybe even as a matter of fact, export control. So this is a crucial thing, like I would say the best practices which you start off.
Okay, and your user, they will be internal at Airbus, or they will be also at the client side to check the quality of the stickers? Do you intend to put that in the hand of the end users?
Yes, so this is that's why I said it is important to get on board the governance that who can access this data.
Yeah.
Is the client or maybe, let's say, for example, in Airbus, we have a strong department for the export control. From which country or which data we are, who is accessing, and do they have the right? So this is what an important part which you have to do in the beginning. But this is what, in terms of large-scale industry, what we focus on. But in general, like if you are not talking about any big industry, we still need to understand that whatever the data source you are using, if it's a proprietary, it has to be secure, it has to be managed in a way that there has to be no data leak. And this is what we try, and this is what I would say that we should focus on. Yeah, at least in today's AI world. Yeah.
Thank you, Aakash. Thomas, you showed us this animation with the bird. Do you expect that the clients would like to have those kind of innovation bring to them? We talk about this torch. That's really a good idea to make it really understandable. But do you have also those things that now the even industrial clients like that can allow some creativity in the field of those storytelling and going a bit beyond a classical story visit and something like that?
So it was really interesting because in our case, when we said that we should do something a bit different in the introduction to bring that wow effect that we expected to materialize, we came with a few concepts, and the client, and the bird was one of them, but the client didn't like it. It was not part of their briefing, so they said, no, please remove this scene. I really believed in that scene, so I had to fight to say, okay, can you please allow us to go until the user testing, and then, well, you will decide, and if we have to remove it, we remove it. And he accepted, and we actually collected the feedback of the testing, and client really, or the testers really loved that. So it actually really changed their mind, because after those 15,000 users, where they collected systematically some feedback, there were two memorable moments, and actually there were, so the bird and the interaction with the product. And in the initial briefing, they really wanted to focus on the visit, on the machines, on the scientific explanation, but actually those were not part of the most memorable moments of the experience. So as a result, now in our third project, they ask us to be more creative and challenge them about that, and also bring much or many more interactions within the experience. So definitely it's something that sometimes you have a priori, you have ideas that you project about your audience, but then it's the results of the field that define what you should do in the future.
Yeah, very interesting. Thank you. Maybe a last word, all of you, about what do you see in the future concerning the integration of XR in industrial sectors? Do you have clues about new requests coming, without telling who are the industrial behind it? But what is your vision of the situation right now, Mohamed, about the future of XR in industrial environment? Do you have some ideas about that?
I think that one of the win that we get on the term XR is today we are no more thinking that virtual situation is only the device itself, the headset. It's really this interaction and connection that you have between the user and the environment, and the fact that the market is continually moving with this, with having a lighter type of headset, new type of 3D stereoscopic type of screen, and continue exploring multiple type of headsets to have a lot of different adoption. This is where I see the market continue evolving. The device and the hardware is part of it, but the content and the way that you can really create more complex, more engaging content is at the heart of this industry, of XR industry. So I hope that we will create new processes and way to create more engaging content, more interesting content, and even if you are in a technical field, it's very important to remember that we are talking with humans. So if you don't find a way to entertain them, even if you are talking about a technical subject, you will lose them.
Yeah, okay. Is it easy, do you think that you will go to trick a bit with those kind of emotion and interaction in order to convince the C-levels? Because the situation now is still a bit struggling sometimes when we have to convince those C-level, but you can come now with ROI, with return on investment. Do you think we are pretty much at this border when the awareness is at the C-level now?
Yeah, I totally think that we started really to move over this phase where there is a lot of opposition on this kind of content. And the video game industry, for example, and all that brings in terms of realism and technology is also helping in that, because they show that the video game can be as complex as a very mechanical and technical type of situation, and also that the video game industry do a lot of research to make their situation and story very believable, and this is helping, and we see that there is less and less type of opposition when we want to bring this entertainment part in a technical field.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Aakash, you talk a bit about the return on investment, the adoption of the solution. Do you think that the key point for the kind of solution you develop will be that you can prove that it will reduce the number of hours of planes getting stuck to the ground? Is that kind of return on investment that will convince your management to go further in XR?
Yes. So Matthew, yes. When we built this application, we actually had a business case, and through which we targeted that we should have at least, let's say, 40% of reduction in time. And this is what we have achieved in the end, because the amount of, let's say, we had the incidents or the non-conformities was reduced. And even the more other part, what we have also seen, that the frontline workers were actually very happy to use it, because now they are hands-free, they are easily do their work, and they can finish it in really less number of in less time. So this is what we have achieved. And what I really feel about, and when I said the ROI, this is actually an important thing we need to look for, because we are in an XR project, and here you really need to know how are you actually defining that, what are you getting out of it, the value. Because let's say it's a cool technology, everybody wants to get a hang of it, and everybody even loves it. Like me as a techie guy, I love playing on any devices, games, and virtual reality and everything. So this is an important part when we are actually doing a business, and we really need to define the key metrics here. And to be very honest, what I think personally, XR, like if I quote our colleague Orin Inbar, he said that XR is going mainstream. But what I would say, it's a transformation. XR's ultimate value is not in the virtualization, but it's actually making like how people feel, behave, and can be benefited from it. So that's what I feel.
Okay,
Thank you.
Aakash. Thomas, you are working worldwide with those clients like Nestlé, but you're also working in Wallonia and in Europe. What is your vision about XR in industrial sectors in Europe and maybe in Wallonia? What is your vision today about the future of XR in industry?
I believe that we are really in a turning point. We reach a turning point with 2026. Seems to be very promising for two main reasons. One, mixed reality. Now it's reached a point where before some of the projects were failing because the expectations of the client were not met in terms of accuracy. If you think about step-by-step guidance on assembly or production lines, With the devices, it was a bit random. The satisfaction rate or the accuracy rate was too low. Now we're reaching stages where it becomes really, really good, and then it's very useful because you see your return on investment. Now, I think what remains very key is to have visionary leaders in front of you. We were really lucky that Nestlé had such visionary leaders, but in many companies, it remains at an operational or tactical level because at the board, they don't see that as a strategic tool. And unlike AI, where everybody can see rapidly some benefits from individual usage, in XR, it's just the opposite. If you look at the mass market or individual usage, you don't necessarily can extrapolate what it means for a company. So there, we as the industry have to make more efforts to make those business cases tangible and systematically show the return on investment of every of them, working on a business case, and stop working on projects that don't deliver value and are just there to showcase how technology can work with a new proof of concept that doesn't deliver any value for any end users.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you all. Please come to see us at the booth 508. And thank you everyone for bringing those insights. And we hope that XR industry will follow up in the future. Thank you, everyone.